Hi, and welcome to another episode of Virtual Health Club. I'm your host, Dr. Millie Lytle, and I am very excited to be doing a smoothies workshop today. So we're going to do a demonstration of about 3 smoothies. I'm only using a blender as far as mixing goes. It is a very high-powered blender. It's a Vitamix, which personally I don't feel like I could live without now that I have one. Although I did live without it for years and years and still made great smoothies. In the past, I've used hand mixers, I've used regular blenders. So when it comes to regular blenders, they don't tend to chop ice as well or even hard pieces like seeds, but you get to know the power of your blender and you know what it will chop. It's not necessary to mix ice into smoothies. You can always, if you want it chilled, you can always either put it in the fridge or you can pour it over ice. So, when you're making smoothies, you have to use your own tools and you have to be willing to do a little bit of adventuring based on what you have. So I'm just going to show you a couple of other things, I guess, that I have. Obviously, you want a glass to put your smoothie in. If you want to do it in a shaker cup or something like that, that's absolutely fine. Some people do have like a smoothie blender glass where they just whiz the whole thing in the bottom, whether it's a magic bullet or the attachment that comes with like a broad hand mixer. I personally like to drink my smoothies out of a metal straw. This saves a lot on the environment I like to drink a smoothie with a straw. That's completely up to you. There's no health benefits to that. But having a metal straw over a plastic straw or a paper straw, that suits me very well. I use the contents of my weekly Misfits organic delivery box, and I tailor my Misfits delivery box. You didn't used to be able to tailor your box, but now, at least as a regular customer, I can. So I almost always get lemons. Lemons are something that I use a lot in smoothies. I almost always get apples, no matter what kind is available. I do tend to get oranges, and so I am going to show you a fruit smoothie with a lemon and an orange and some greens. And I like to use the whole fruit, and that's the benefit of blending as opposed to juicing. Now, juicing has tons of benefits. Juicing is when you have a juicing device and it separates the juice from the pulp. And so whether that's like a mechanical or even just, your handy lemon squeezer, which I do use all the time, this is a way to separate the juice from the pulp. But when it comes to blending in a blender, you're including the pulp. So you're putting everything in there and mixing it all up. So you're getting the difference between juicing and blending is that with juicing, you're only getting the nutrients, the antioxidants, all the thin stuff from the juice. Whereas with blending, and it takes a lot more fruit to make a juice when it's filtered like that, obviously. Like it takes about, 4 to 6 oranges, for instance, to make that much juice. Whereas in a blender, only 1 orange and one lemon or one other ingredient will make yourself, a big cup of 8-ounce juice. And so you're not only getting the thin nutrients, but you're also getting all the fiber, which I think, sorry, I lost my tripod. There's a lot of benefits to that, to getting the fiber. It fills you up, it lowers your blood sugar, you're not getting as much of the sugar as you would. So in a juice, for instance, you're getting the sugar of 6 to 8 oranges, however many oranges, whereas when you're blending, you're only getting the sugar of 1 or 2 fruits or vegetables that you use. And which is not to say juicing is bad. Juicing is highly anti-inflammatory, tons of antioxidants. You do want to use the best quality fruits and vegetables you can get. So you do want to use organic whenever possible. Especially important with juicing when you're running through all of those fruits and vegetables and only getting the juice. You will get the pesticides, when you're juicing. You'll get the pesticides, whereas with blending, you're peeling everything mostly, unless it's an apple or something thin skin, but you're peeling a lemon, you're peeling an orange, whereas in a juicer, generally you're just pressing it all through, so you're more likely to get pesticides that are on the surface of the fruit or vegetable. So use organic when you can. If you can't use organic, then definitely wash your thin skin fruits with I like to wash mine with vinegar, but you can also wash them with a natural dish soap. Sometimes I would use hydrogen peroxide if there's like a waxy film on it. And you can
Oh.
soak your fruits and vegetables in any of those for, you know, about an hour, and then just make sure that they're rinsed off properly. Sometimes I use fresh fruits and vegetables as much as possible, but I also do use frozen. I definitely use frozen blueberries. Today I'll be showing frozen blueberries and cranberries. It's a great way to get something sour that you wouldn't normally eat into your, you know, put it into your smoothie, because normally how would we get cranberries into our diet other than just like, you know, at holiday time we'd eat it in a cranberry jelly, or we might have a cranberry juice. Generally it's very sweetened, but when you're making your own juice or your own smoothie, then it's an opportunity to put ingredients in there that you might not really know how to use otherwise, and you might not normally use. And if you blend them properly and make a good flavor combination, then, you know, then it will work out really well. So definitely part of making smoothies is in blending your flavors properly. And so you do want to start off pretty basic, especially if you're not too adventurous with your palate. And somebody saying good morning, Claudia. And so, you know what you like. This is not anything to, if you put a whole lot of ingredients into a smoothie that you don't like, you're probably not going to like the smoothie that much. However, I do encourage you to be adventurous, because you never know how something's going to turn out. Okay, so we're going to start off with a lemon and orange greens juice. And so I'm going to basically just cut the peel off of the orange. So you could peel it however you want, but I'm just gonna cut it. So you saw how it started out. I'm just going to cut the orange off like this. I'm just taking my knife and like cutting around the orange. I'm using my phone, so I don't think that there's really a way for me to like lower and show you my chopping. So I'm just gonna have to show you. But I just try not to lose too much of the fruit, but you can see the peel and then you can see the fruit. And so I'm just going to put the whole orange into my Vitamix. And I'm going to do the same thing with a lemon. I like the whole lemon, the pulp, everything. I really like lemon in smoothies. It offers really great tang, you know, lots of vitamin C, bioflavonoids. It's another fruit that we really underuse, probably because we generally think of a lemon as, you know, a condiment. We squeeze it on something or we put it in water, but how often are we really eating the fruit of the lemon, right? With the pulp and all the nutrients that are in there, including the fiber. And I just put the seeds in. I am like that. I am a witch. So you do whatever you want. If you want to seed your lemon, then you go ahead and do that. So this is a pretty basic smoothie. This is only going to be a couple of ingredients. I am going to add a superfood because I always like, in addition to my fruit and or vegetable base, we're going to get to the vegetables, I also like to add a superfood. I always like to add something a little bit extra that's going to make it a little more healthy. So I'm also thinking in terms of health benefits of what I'm getting. So I know in this smoothie, for instance, even though it's just fruit, I'm getting lemon, I'm getting orange, so it's going to be a great flavor profile. I know that. You could also add grapefruit, but then I also want to add something that maybe is going to cut it, like add a little bit of cut the sweet a little bit, cut the tang a little bit, and also give me something super nutritious. So I'm going to add powdered greens. Now these greens are sweetened with stevia, so they will make this a little sweeter, but you could also add just like, for instance, regular seaweed. Like sometimes I might add this. This is dulse flakes. So this is just a little bit of a one ingredient super green from the sea. Whereas this is a powdered product which has everything from seaweeds in it to broccoli powder to kale to parsley to what else is in here? Spirulina. There's probiotics. There's bee pollen, royal jelly. There's cherry juice, there's beet juice powder, there's some adaptogenic herbs. So there's a bunch of stuff in here. This is my favorite powder. This is a TLS Nutrimetrics NutriClean powder. And so it comes with a scoop inside. So I'm just going to take, I like to double up and just get a couple of spoons in there. And then normally with this, I might just add a little bit of water because I think I do need a little bit of a base. So as a base, you always want a base with a smoothie just because it's gonna help liquefy it, even though there is lots of juice in these fruits. So I am going to, should have had this cup. So if you don't have a filter on your water tap, then you might want to use filtered water or bottled water. So I just add maybe just a little, like third of a cup or something of water to this. And I'm gonna see if I can just mute you so you don't have to hear my blender. Okay, so then you see that we have this kind of green looking juice, and the lemon and the orange blend up really well. You can see it's pretty thin, it's kind of creamy, kind of frothy. I mean, if I didn't put the greens powder in here, this would be bright yellow or orange because it's just really orange and lemon juice. It's only green because I put the greens powder in, and so that's how I wanted it. And then you can imagine how it tastes. Very citrusy, really good, yummy, refreshing. We've got an orange, a lemon in there, some greens powder, super simple. You can start your day with that. It's really refreshing. It's got fiber, it's got nutrients, it's got vitamins, it's detoxifying. And then it's got a whole lot of extra superfoods from the greens. Super simple. If you wanted to add a banana to it, then you could. Today, I'm not going to be adding the typical like banana to make things creamy. I'm going to show you how we can make things creamy without banana. Even avocado is a vegetable that I add instead of bananas a lot to a smoothie, and it really makes it nice and creamy. And I love that, but I don't have a ripe avocado. So this is just something that, you know, we need to always take into consideration what we have. Some things we can plan, but we can't plan for avocados. So we can to some extent. I'm just going to rinse my Vitamix.
So Dr. Millie.
Yeah.
So if we were to have a glass of that can be considered as a meal because of all the nutrients that are in it? Because it has protein, right?
It's a snack. It's a snack.
Okay.
I mean, there's a little bit of protein, but I wouldn't say that that's really a meal. I will show you a smoothie that I would consider a meal in a minute. So this is the lightest of all of the smoothies that I'm going to show you, because there's really just an orange, a lemon, and some greens powder. So there is some protein. There's definitely fiber. There's not really any healthy fats. Now you could add some fats to this, like you could add olive oil or liquid fish oil if you had it, or sometimes I even puncture a fish oil capsule and throw it in. You know, you do kind of get a fishy flavor, but fish and lemon go well together. So the fish oil is actually not the worst thing in a citrus-based smoothie. It's a little bit weird. Sometimes smoothies can be weird, and that's all right. Hi, Mindy.
Hi, Millie. Hi, Millie.
How are you?
Looks yummy. Looks good.
Yeah, so this one you missed it, I think, because you just came on. But this is lemon, orange.
No, I've been watching
green.
you. Lemon, orange, and greens powder.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, so the second smoothie I'm going to make is more of a complex veggie smoothie. So I happen to have baby cucumbers in my freezer, so they're frozen. And this is a great way if you think that you have veggies in your fridge and you're not going to use them, which I think a lot of us do this. You know, we buy vegetables, and as I mentioned before, I've got my vegetable box that comes every week. And so if I feel like I'm not going to use the cucumber, it's going soft or something, I'll just throw it in the freezer and then I can make a smoothie out of it. So this, I am going to use apple again. You saw my cucumber. So I'm just, oh no, apple, this is the first time I'm using apple. So I'm just like chopping up an apple. Make sure your veggies are all pre-washed. Now this would be a great smoothie to have avocado in because it could make it really creamy. But so right now I've got cucumber, I've got apple, I'm gonna put lemon in it. And again, I like the whole lemon, but if you are, you know, a little shy about tang or don't like it, then you could certainly throw the lemon, you could just chop the lemon up and then squeeze the lemon into your smoothie. And then the other thing that I'm going to put in here is something green. So this is going to be more what we consider a green smoothie, but it's not entirely green. I'm going to put this windowsill plant, which is like sorrel. It's a very lemony windowsill plant. You could put parsley, you could put lettuce, you could put kale or another type of spinach. Generally, if you're using something that's not like a microgreen, like just a recent sprout, I would recommend blanching it. There's a lot of oxalates that are in like spinach and kale, so I would blanch those in hot water before I put them in a smoothie. That's my personal preference. If it's parsley or cilantro, then you can just throw in a bunch. So I'm just gonna cut a bunch of these, and I'm just gonna, the flowers and all, this is an edible plant. And you know, during this time, it's interesting because I think a lot of us are getting creative on how to grow food at home, and there's food shortage scares and all of this is going on. So always remember that there's things that you can do. You know, it's very easy just to grow a few window box herbs, some edible plants, and just like sprout them, or even sprouting something like chickpeas just by soaking them in water for overnight. And you could always add like chickpeas to something like this. It might make it very, very thick, so you want to be careful. But then you could thin it out. So this is also, I'm going to show this in terms of a base for this. I'm not going to use water. I'm not going to use juice. You could always use a pre-mixed juice. So this I'm going to use herbal tea. And so I made an herbal tea beforehand. This is a ginger herbal tea. So this, I'm just going to pour in about a third of a cup, quarter of a cup. And you can see that this smoothie is, you know, very high in nutrients, very high in veggies. And it's going to come out as a delicious juice. The last thing that I'm going to add to this is flax seeds to make it really creamy, because I don't have avocado and I don't have, I'm not going to add a banana. You could even add a banana to this to kind of sweeten it up, but I'm going to add flax seeds. These are Bob's Red Mill organic flax seeds. And flax seeds are going to give it a nuttiness and a body, and I'm just going to mute.
So, Dr. Millie?
So this requires a lot more blending. Obviously, we've got frozen vegetables in it. Yesterday, I made a smoothie that had a carrot in it. So, you know, carrots require a lot more chopping, and so you do have to consider the power of your machine. A Vitamix can just like make a vegetable soup so easily and quickly. So whether you want to consider this like a soup, you could heat this up if you wanted to, or if it's a smoothie, then, you know, same difference what you call it, really. Also, the Vitamix comes with this like this attachment, which kind of allows us to push things down and move it around. So I do like that. So this is a really like nutty vegetable smoothie, and it's sweetened with the apple. It's got omega-3s in it because of the flaxseed. It's got high lignans. It's cancer fighting. It's got lemon, cucumber, fresh herbs, the micro sprouts that I use. And so it's also green because of the cucumber and because of the micro sprouts. It's nice and chilled. This is like a liquid salad. This is like, and I didn't even add any extra greens to this. The superfood that I used was the flaxseed. And it has the lemon in it, has the apple, has the cucumber. It really comes through. It tastes like a refreshing smoothie. It is lemony. It's not sweet. It's nutty and it's creamy because of the flaxseed. It's really good. And this is, I wouldn't consider this a meal either, but it's getting closer, right? Because it is really like a blended salad. So you can imagine eating all those ingredients on a salad. Like you could slice up cucumbers and apples and have some greens and with lemon squeezed on it and some seeds thrown on top. It doesn't have to be flax seeds. It could be hemp hearts. It could be almonds. It could be walnuts. And Mindy, could you just mute your...
How do I do that?
I'm on a phone. Do you see like a little microphone in the bottom left? Or on the
No,
upper?
I'm on my phone, so it's not me. I see an icon. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, thank you. I will.
Thank you. So yeah, so so you can imagine eating it like a salad, but we're just blending it. And that's all. Super healthy. It's filling because it does have the nuts and the flax seeds in it. And that's something that I would have generally on a daily basis. Especially in the summer, I like to eat smoothies. If you did want to heat it, or if you did want to like warm it a little bit and kind of eat it as a soup and add a little bit of salt in it, or add a little cayenne pepper, that would also be great. I would consider that. Super healthy, delicious. And then the last, does anybody have any questions? If you do have questions and you're on mute, please unmute yourself.
Yes, I have questions. When you talked about you can use like kale or some of the other vegetables, you said you blanch it first?
Yeah. Yeah, I recommend just cooking it a little bit. So either steaming it a little bit or just dipping it in hot water, even just for a minute. Just to soften it up so you're getting some of the oxalates cooked out and just some of the fiber just softened a little bit.
Okay. Okay, and then the other question was when you mentioned about the washing the fruits, you had said we can soak it in either vinegar or hydrogen peroxide for about an hour to get rid of the pesticides.
Yeah,
okay.
You want to do that. It's a dilution with water. So if it's depending on the strength of the hydrogen peroxide, like if you're using food grade hydrogen peroxide, it's very strong. So you just need a teaspoon of that in like a bowl of water. Whereas if you're using regular drugstore hydrogen peroxide, then you'd probably put about 2 to 3, 3 to 1, 3 water to 1 peroxide. So like a quarter to a third of your bowl is peroxide and the rest is water. If you're doing like dish soap, you just make a natural, like a dish soap solution. I wouldn't use I would make sure that if you're using dish soap, that it's a natural based dish soap. But just make a little bit of a soapy solution and just allow the vegetables and fruits to soak and then just rinse them off and dry them. If you let them soak too long, they will get waterlogged. So you don't want to let them soak too long. You still want them to be crispy.
Okay.
Okay, so the last smoothie we're going to make is something probably more than what you consider as a smoothie. Generally, people do think about smoothies with protein powder and berries and maybe cocoa powder, and so that's what we're going to do. And in this, I'm not going to use a banana. You could always use a banana as a base. And I do that sometimes. If you like to sweeten things up, like sometimes I like to sweeten it up with a date. So still high fiber. I mean, you do want to watch your sugar, because that's one thing that can definitely increase depending on what ingredients you're using. So you want to consider, you know, how much sugar is in. So like, for instance, 2 to 6 dates has 25 grams of sugar. So 1 date has about 5 grams of sugar. So that's like a teaspoon of sugar. So you are talking about quite a bit of sugar. This is a medjool date. This is a small one. So I'm just going to add 1. I just take the pit out and add it. Then I have about half a cup of blueberries and cranberries, mostly blueberries, but I did throw some cranberries in here. These were frozen. I always get organic, either organic blueberries, frozen blueberries, or I get the wild Wegman, because it's a blueberry farm where they kind of like let them grow wild in Maine. And so I do like those companies. The blueberries are very small. I like small blueberries, not big blueberries. More antioxidants. I'm also going to add some collagen to this. So collagen is another superfood. It's gut healing. It's great for your skin, great for your joints, great for your digestion if you have leaky gut or something. Collagen comes a couple of different ways. It comes like collagen type 1 and 3 in a powder. So sometimes I'll add it that way. You can see it's like a white powder. It doesn't have any taste. It's great. You can add collagen to anything. You can add collagen to coffee, but it's not good for your gut. Coffee's not good for your gut, but you can add collagen to most anything. It doesn't disintegrate with heat. You can add it to hot water. You can add it to soup. I like to add it to a smoothie. This is another way collagen comes. It comes in a liquid kind of gel stick, and then you just twist off the top and suck it back. And this is actually just like a portable collagen. You can just take it. You don't have to add it to water. And it's got lemon in it, so it's a little bit lemony. I'm not going to add that one to this smoothie, because this smoothie is going to have like more of a sweet palate. So no lemon in this smoothie. Oh, I'm almost done. That was my collagen powder. So I added a date. I added blueberries. I added cranberries. I added some collagen powder. I'm also going to add some protein powder. So I'm going to add the TLS plant-based protein shake. This has pea powder, pea protein powder, and fiber, and it's got some coconut powder in it as well. And so it is sweetened with stevia. So I'm just going to add a scoop of this. 2 tablespoons, which is this big cup, is 1 serving. And that gives you how much protein? I think it's like 12 grams of protein. If you use whey protein, sometimes I'll use whey protein. Whey protein is more dense than protein. So if you wanted 20 grams of protein or 20 to 30 grams of protein, this is a great way to get protein and, you know, lower the sugar content, the glycemic index of your smoothie so that your blood sugar won't spike. I'm also going to add another source of protein to this, which is going to be peanut butter. This is all natural peanut butter. So right now we're going to have 3 sources of protein in this. We're going to have plant-based protein with pea and coconut protein. We're going to have collagen powder, which is not a complete protein, but it is good for all the joints, skin, hair, nails, gut healing, as I mentioned. And I'm going to add some peanut butter. Now, again, you could add flax seeds, you could add pumpkin seeds, you could add hemp hearts, you could add pumpkin seed butter, sun butter. There's all sorts of variations that you could add to make this smooth, creamy, nutty texture. Almond butter. I'm not a fan of almond butter, but a lot of people are. I don't know why. It's just my palate. I like almonds, but I don't like almond butter. Pardon?
No, I was saying I use almond butter. I like almond butter.
Yeah,
I don't
a lot of people do. No, it's still, I don't know why. I have some kind of problem with it. I don't know.
Millie, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What are you using as, what are you using as your blender?
This is a Vitamix.
Vitamix. Is that what you I mean, I use like a blender, but you can't make the good juices you're making with a regular blender. You need like a specific one, right?
Yeah, I was saying at the beginning, maybe before you came on, that, you know, what you have as a machine really does determine what you're ultimately going to make.
Right.
And I got by for like, you know, 15, 20 years of juice making, blending with just a Braun hand mixer and a regular blender. But ever since I got my Vitamix, I absolutely love it. I mean, it's irreplaceable. It makes soups, it makes hummus, it makes sauces, it blends everything like ice, seeds, raw vegetables. Like I could literally throw carrots in here and it could make a blended smoothie out of it. So
Wow,
most
okay.
blenders can't do that. It is, you know, it is an investment. It's
Is there like a which one, is there like a particular one to get with the vitamins, or there's just one?
There are different levels. It's like a BMW. It's got different levels to it.
I want the convertible version.
Yeah, exactly. So with the rooftop, you know, they do run from like, I think you can get them from like $2.99, and you know how you can buy everything on payment plans now too. So, but they run from like $2.99 to like $9.99, and then there's professional ones too.
The
So you
good
can, like,
one, I
pay
think, is
all
like
along.
600, right, Millie?
Yeah, this one's like $5, but this one was, I think, was
Yeah.
600.
Yeah, I know. I used to see them in Whole Foods. They used to demo the tortilla soups. Mexican,
Yes.
delicious.
Yeah, you can make so much in them. I
Ice
mean,
cream,
they
sherbet.
last. They have a lifelong warranty, so that's another thing. It's not like, you know, nothing against Olstein or whatever, you know, Black and Decker, but like those are not going to give you lifetime warranties. You're going to spend $100 on them, and then you're going to have to replace it. But there are good blenders. I mean, there's so many reviews. If you're looking for blenders online, definitely look at people's reviews, because people tell you the honest truth about their, you know, kitchen appliances. But I absolutely love the Vitamix.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so now I'm going to add cocoa powder. So this is unsweetened, 100% cocoa. There's various different versions of how you can get cocoa. This is an unsweetened one. I also do have from Mindy's company. Invite Health is the company I also used to work for. They have this cocoa with grapeseed powder, and it's a little sweetened. I don't use it as much, but it is also great. And so now we've got collagen, berries, cocoa, peanut butter, protein powder, 1 date. And then I'm going to put, as a base for this, I'm going to put an unsweetened organic soy. So you could use almond milk, you could use oat milk, you could use hemp milk, you could use water.
Coconut milk.
Yep. And so this is a meal. I would consider this breakfast. And depending on, you know, your carb content, you could put oats in this, you could put wheat germ, you could put other seeds, put lentils. So it just depends on how adventurous you want to be and like how well you feel you can, you know, control the palate, like the flavoring of it. You could also add spices to this. You could add cinnamon if you like that. You know, this is obviously going to be a peanut butter chocolate smoothie, but I would also normally always add greens too, because I just like to cut the sweet on everything, and I like to get as many greens as possible. So I'm just going to go. You can see that I've got a long day ahead of blender drinks to consume.
You'll be drinking it all day.
I'll be drinking it all day.
I said she
This is
got 3
all-
drinks that she has to drink.
Mindy, don't ask me what I'll be eating for dinner, because I'll be eating juice, breakfast, lunch, and
You
dinner.
got breakfast, lunch, and dinner right there.
Exactly. But this is a really good detox. You know, this is something that you could prepare for yourself for the day. And if you wanted to have like a fast day, then you could be having liquid beverages all day long. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You can see that you're getting all your superfoods, you're getting protein where you want it, you can control it. I mean, you could even put a protein powder in the orange and lemon juice. There's no problem with that, right? You just want to make sure that you're going to like it and drink it.
Millie, you think soy is healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I think soy is a controversial food.
Right.
Some people cannot do soy, you know. It is estrogenic, but it's a phytoestrogen. So if it's not treated with pesticides, then the weak estrogens in soy block the harmful estrogens at the receptor site in the breast and in the ovaries. But even with its health benefits, still not everybody can eat soy, and I don't recommend eating non-organic soy just because it's genetically modified. And then the pesticides, the level of pesticides in and of themselves are estrogenic, and then they're blocking the weak estrogens that are naturally found in soy. And that's why I believe that we see, polar opposite study results when we compare soy milk or soy products when they're consumed in traditional Chinese society versus soy when it's consumed in America, how the soy was grown and how it was treated. They really respect their soy. With all the problems that China has, I believe they have a lot of problems, but they will not import and eat American soy, so because they do consider it a health food. So it does depend on also how it's prepared, how the tofu is made, tempeh. So you do want it organic, preferably sprouted and or fermented. Okay, so I think we've got a good smoothie here.
You never add ice to that?
I usually add, I prefer to add ice in the bottom of my cup and then just pour the smoothie over the ice. But you could add ice to this, absolutely, yeah.
But you use the frozen fruit, so it should make it cold anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And so even when I use the frozen cucumber in the last beverage, like that beverage was very cold when I tasted it.
Yeah.
And it's still cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is maybe like the most, out of the box kind of smoothies that I've made, but you can really tailor this. And if you think of it as a salad, like a liquid salad or, just a vegetable smoothie, you can frame it in your mind as being like a really refreshing drink. And, we do develop our palate over time also. Like you try a less sweetened version of a smoothie, and then you notice that you can be more adventurous and try like even less sweet or tangy or sour smoothies. Okay, I'm just gonna mute so I can blend this up. Okay, so I did add some ice to the bottom of the glass because I don't think that this is going to be cold enough. This is a beautiful color. You can see it's very thick. I did not add any banana to this. It's super thick. It's thick because of the protein powder. It's thick because of the peanut butter that I added. It whipped up really nice. And there's greens in this, and it still came out really purple. So, did somebody say something?
I said it's pretty.
Yeah, it is. It's yummy.
Yeah. And it's actually quite sweet because the protein powder has stevia in it. I put a date in it, which I probably didn't really need at all. But adding those sweet ingredients is good because it really does add palatability, which is obviously important, so that you can add your extra things. You can really,
filling too.
If you're adding collagen, yeah, very filling. I mean, this is really a meal. Like this is, I don't know if you would, you want to pick one of your smaller meals, but you can definitely make one of your meals a liquid. This is a great time to experiment with smoothie making too, just because there's so many fresh vegetables. You feel like drinking more cold things as we're getting hotter. Obviously the winter is not the best time to be juicing and having too many cold beverages, although I do tend to still have smoothies some days of the week in the winter. Yeah, so I think that's it. I mean, there's other things that you could add to smoothies. Sometimes I add vitamin C powder. That also gives it a lemon flavor if I don't actually have fresh lemon on hand. Something like just the vitamin C crystals. This is Solgar. It's unsweetened. It completely tastes like lemon if I add it to my water, which I do generally, especially during this Corona outbreak. I've been taking it every day. There's other powders like isotonics powders, which I do take every day, but I don't generally add them to my smoothies. I'm just gonna see what I have on the counter. And I think that's it. So we did the first one we did was lemon, orange, and greens with a base of water. And then the second one we did was cucumber, microgreens, lemon, apple, flax seeds, and a base of herbal tea. Herbal tea is also a really good, you can make a soup out of that. So you can brew up, whether it's chamomile tea, I've used that to make stews in, so herbal tea is a really great way to get extra nutrients if you feel like your diet's a little short of nutrients. And especially depending on what kind of herbal tea you're taking, like if you're taking licorice or ginseng or mushroom teas, then you can get a lot of immune support as well with those. And then the third smoothie we made was on a base of soy milk, and I added a little bit of water because it's actually too thick. It was peanut butter, raw cocoa, protein powder, collagen, greens powder, and a date. So that's it for me, guys. That's what I have as far as the smoothie workshop. Any more questions?
Just a question on that metal straw. I didn't know they made metal straws. Where do you, can you purchase that on Amazon, or where do you purchase that
I
from?
believe you can purchase it at like Kitchen Stuff Plus, Bed Bath Beyond, probably other places. I'm sure you can buy it on Amazon, to be honest.
Okay.
My niece drinks smoothies every day, and when my sister came to visit last time, they left it with me. So I actually just inherited this metal straw. So I didn't
Okay.
I have
actually
a
purchase
question.
it, but I love it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you going to post the exact recipes that you had? I missed a couple in the beginning. Did you give will you give the exact amounts and everything? Because I'm new to choosing.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that. I'll send out the recipes. I mean, as you can see, I'm not much of a measurer. I'm more of a throw it in. But definitely, yeah, I can post what the rough estimates are.
And can you post the measurements for the wash for the fruits, the hydrogen, and the
I'll send that in Health Club.
vinegar?
Yeah, I'll send that through Health Club, and Mindy, I'll add you to Health Club.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a wonderful
This is great,
Saturday. Enjoy your
Millie.
day.
Thank you. Bye.
Happy smoothie making. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.